My friend in South Korea hosted an American exchange student who was horrified by the concept of heated floors on dole. She refused to walk on them, claiming it was unnatural and probably leaking radiation. She spent her entire winter semester wearing shoes inside and complaining that the house was cold because she insisted on turning the floor heating off in her room, not understanding it heated the whole apartment. She tried to convince her host family to rip up their floors and install a proper American HVAC system. I was managing a high-end restaurant in Stockholm. An American couple was seated and the man immediately called me over. He pointed at the candle on his table and said, "My wife is allergic to scented candles. Can you please bring us a non-scented one?" I explained that it was in fact a non-scented candle, as was standard. He leaned in conspiratorially and whispered, "I know you have to say that, but we're American. We can pay extra for the real non-scented ones." He genuinely believed we were lying to him, and that unscented items were a premium luxury. I witnessed an American businessman in a Tokyo train station get increasingly agitated because the DD bullet train was scheduled to leave at exactly 14:32. He cornered a poor station attendant and lectured him for 5 minutes, saying, "Why not just make it 2:30 or 2:35? This 32 thing is just confusing for everyone. It's inefficient." In the US, our schedules are simple and logical, designed for the customer. You guys are just trying to be difficult. The train left without him while he was still complaining. In a pub in rural Ireland, an American tourist was listening to a group of locals speak Irish Gaelic. After a few minutes, he walked over and said, "Your English accents are so thick. I can't understand a single word you're saying. You should really try to speak more clearly." They had to gently explain to him that they were speaking an entirely different language. He looked baffled and replied, "But why didn't you guys learn English from us?" An American wellness influencer moved to a small village in Tuscany for an authentic Italian experience. She then proceeded to complain on her Instagram stories that the local markets didn't sell kale or almond milk for her morning smoothies. She tried to teach a 70-year-old nonna how to make zucchini pasta because the real pasta had too many carbs. The nonna just laughed, handed her a glass of wine at 10 a.m., and went back to making fresh gnocchi. I worked at a hotel in Cairo. An American guest called the front desk in a panic. "There's a man in a dress praying on a rug in the hallway." He whispered, shouted, "I think he might be a security threat." I had to calmly explain that it was just another guest wearing a galabeya performing one of his 5 daily prayers and that it was perfectly normal. The American then asked if we could designate a special prayer closet so it wouldn't happen in the open where his kids could see it. An American family at a resort in Fiji was upset because the staff kept saying Bula to them with big smiles. The mother eventually complained to the manager, "Your employees are being very unprofessional. They keep yelling the name of a water company at us. We drink Fiji water. We get it. You don't have to keep reminding us. It's terrible marketing." She thought Bula, the traditional Fijian greeting, was a corporate sponsorship. My university in the Netherlands assigned a group project. The one American in our group was horrified that we had to work collaboratively to get a single grade. "This is socialism," he declared. "What if I do all the work and some slacker gets the same grade in America? We value individualism. I'm going to do my own project and you can all do yours." He did. And he was the only one who failed because the assignment was specifically about teamwork. Overheard on a bus in Iceland from an American teenager to his father, "This is so boring. It's just a bunch of rocks and moss. Why couldn't they have built something cool here like a Six Flags a roller coaster going down the side of a volcano would be awesome. This whole country has zero entertainment infrastructure. It's a totally wasted opportunity." An American tourist in a Scottish castle asked the guide, "This is all very old and impressive, but where did the royalty live? I don't see any swimming pools or a 3-car garage." The guide explained that such amenities didn't exist in the 14th century. The tourist shook his head sadly and said, "Wow, it's so sad that they were poor. Even our middle-class people have pools. I was a server in Barcelona. An American customer ordered paella and then sent it back complaining that it was broken. When I asked what he meant, He pointed at the sokarat, the delicious crispy layer of rice at the bottom of the pan, and said, "It's all burnt on the bottom. The chef clearly messed it up. I want a fresh one that isn't burnt, please." He refused to believe it was the most prized part of the dish. An American expat in my office in Germany was constantly confused by our vacation policy. You get 6 weeks off and you actually take all of it. How does the company survive? In my last job, you got 2 weeks, but you were shamed if you took more than 3 days in a row. Taking all your vacation time is a sign of a bad work ethic. He proudly let half of his vacation days expire at the end of the year to show his dedication. A young American backpacker in Thailand was trying to get a monk to take a selfie with him. The monk politely declined through gestures. The backpacker got frustrated and said, "Dude, it's for my Insta. It'll be great exposure for you and your temple thing." He then tried to put his arm around the monk, a huge sign of disrespect, and was promptly but gently escorted away by other monks. I was on a walking tour in Prague when an American woman asked the guide why the city had so many statues. The guide started explaining the rich history. The woman cut him off. "No, I get it, but who has to clean them all? It seems like a huge waste of taxpayer money to keep dusting off. All these old guys, you should just take pictures of them and put the statues in a museum." An American student in my cooking class in Lyon, France, refused to use butter. "I only cook with I can't believe it's not butter," she insisted. "It's what we use back home. It's healthier." Our chef, a man who considered butter to be a food group, looked at her with a mixture of pity and disgust and simply said, "Then what you're making is not French food. It is a tragedy." At a public bath in Budapest, an American was loudly complaining that the water had a weird smell. A local tried to explain that it was the natural mineral content, which is why people come. The American replied, "It smells like eggs. In America, if our water smells, it means it's poisoned. You people are bathing in poison water. I'm going to report this to my embassy." My cousin from Florida visited me in Canada in the winter. He saw the electrical outlets on the outside of houses and in parking lots. "Why do you guys have outlets everywhere outside?" he asked. I explained. They were for block heaters to keep car engines from freezing. He was stunned. "You have to plug your cars into the wall like a giant toaster. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why not just make the cars better?" An American tourist in the Amazon rainforest asked our guide if the monkeys took reservations. He wasn't joking. He wanted to know if he could book a time slot to have a monkey sit on his shoulder for a photo. And he was willing to pay. He thought the entire rainforest was a kind of interactive, pre-arranged theme park. I was working in a bookstore in Hay-on-Wye, the famous town of books in Wales. An American came in and asked, "Do you have this book on Kindle?" I politely said, "We only sell physical books." He scoffed and said, "Why, books are so inconvenient. They kill trees and they're heavy. This whole town is cute, but it's completely obsolete. You should really get with the 21st century." An American couple on safari in Kenya was disappointed. They hadn't seen a lion by lunchtime on their first day. The husband told the guide, "Can you maybe call them or something, or put out some food to attract them at Disney's Animal Kingdom? We saw a lion within 15 minutes. Your park is very poorly managed." A student in my philosophy class in Athens argued that Plato was overrated. His reasoning: he wrote everything down in books. If his ideas were really that good, he would have started a podcast or a YouTube channel. He just didn't know how to market his brand properly. It's a classic rookie mistake. An American in a German supermarket was trying to buy a single bottle of beer from a 6-pack. The cashier explained he had to buy the whole pack. He became irate. "This is a violation of my rights as a consumer. I should be able to buy exactly what I want. This is the kind of anti-freedom policy that leads to communism. I want to speak to the manager of German grocery stores." I overheard an American tourist at the cliffs of Moher in Ireland talking on his phone. "Yeah, it's nice, I guess, but it's a safety nightmare. There's no guardrail. I could just fall right off. I'm pretty sure this would be illegal in the United States. I'm getting anxiety just looking at all this unregulated nature." My American roommate in Spain would keep all his eggs in the cupboard. I told him they should be in the fridge. He explained to me as if I were a child. No. In America, well, we refrigerate our eggs to keep them safe from salmonella. Your European eggs are clearly dangerous because you just leave them out. I can't believe you risk your lives like this every day. He didn't understand that our eggs aren't washed, preserving a natural protective layer. An American tourist in Vietnam was furious that his $5 bill was rejected by a street food vendor. "It's legal tender," he yelled. "This is worth more than your dong money. Everybody wants American dollars." The vendor just shook her head and served the next person who paid with the local currency. Without any issue, at a performance of a traditional Aboriginal dance in Australia, an American in the audience was heard saying to his wife, "Their choreography is a little repetitive, don't you think? And the costumes are a bit drab. They should hire a consultant from Broadway to punch this up a bit. It has potential, but it's not very entertaining." An American was trying to order a decaf skinny, extra hot. No foam soy latte in a tiny family-run espresso bar in Naples, Italy. The elderly barista stared at him, then calmly pulled a perfect single shot of espresso, put it on the counter, and said, "Café." The American looked at the tiny cup in horror. "This isn't what I ordered. I need my modifications." I was on a train in India when it made an unscheduled stop. An American in my car got up and tried to find the conductor. "What's the holdup?" he demanded. "Is it a technical issue in the U.S.? We're entitled to a full report on the reason for any delay." "We have rights." A local man calmly replied, "A cow is on the track, sir. The train will move when the cow moves. This is India. Our rights include respecting the cow." An American tourist in China was looking at a group of elderly people practicing Tai Chi in a park. He walked up to their instructor and said, "You're doing it all wrong. Your movements are too slow. You're not getting your heart rate up. In America, we have high-intensity interval training. It's much more efficient for burning calories. I can show you." A young American woman was visiting a historic Shinto shrine in Japan. She saw the offering box and the ropes for ringing the bell to pray. She proceeded to throw a handful of loose change at it, then started violently shaking the bell rope like she was in a fitness competition, yelling, "Hello? Is anyone there?" An American in a Swiss chocolate shop was sampling a piece of dark chocolate. He made a face and told the chocolatier, "This is bitter. It tastes like it's not finished yet. Do you have any milk chocolate? You know, the normal kind, like a Hershey's bar." That's what real chocolate is supposed to taste like. Sweet and smooth. My company sent an American manager to our office in Finland. He was shocked that we all left work at 400 p.m. sharp. He called a meeting and announced a new policy. To increase productivity, we will now be staying until 600 p.m. This shows dedication. The next day, everyone still left at 400 p.m. When he confronted an employee, she simply replied, "I have finished my work. Now I will go to my sauna. This is the Finnish way. It is efficient." An American tourist at the Dead Sea was confused. He asked the lifeguard, "So, if you can't sink, what's the point? The fun of swimming is the challenge of not drowning. You've taken all the sport out of it. It's just floating. I don't get it." I was working at a youth hostel in Amsterdam. An American guest came to the desk to complain about his dorm mates. "The 3 guys from Germany in my room," he said. "They just took all of their clothes off to go to sleep. They're just sleeping there naked. Can you tell them to stop?" It's indecent. In America, we have the decency to wear pajamas. An American was visiting the famous Tsukiji fish market in Tokyo. He saw the massive tuna being auctioned and sold. He turned to his guide and said, "This is so unsanitary. They're just touching the fish with their bare hands. Where are the plastic gloves? Where's the saran wrap? I would never buy my sushi from a place like this. I only eat at places that are FDA approved." A tourist in Portugal was looking at the beautiful azulejo tiles that adorn many buildings. He remarked to his tour group, "It's a nice idea, but it's a shame they couldn't afford to finish the wallpapering. Tilling your whole house on the outside seems like what you do when you run out of money for paint." It looks a bit cheap, honestly. An American was arguing with a ticket inspector on a train in Switzerland. He had bought a ticket, but he hadn't validated it in the machine on the platform before boarding. "But I paid for it," he insisted. "Why do I have to get it stamped? It's just a pointless extra step. It's a scam to trick tourists. In America, when you buy a ticket, it just works." I overheard an American couple at a winery in the Bordeaux region of France. After a tasting, the husband told the vintner, "It's good, but a little dry. Have you ever thought about adding some grape juice to it after it's fermented to make it sweeter?" "At home, my wife and I mix our wine with Sprite. It really improves the flavor." An American was visiting a friend in a typical British home and asked where the garbage disposal was. His friend explained that they aren't common. The American was aghast. "What do you do with your leftover food then? Just throw it in the trash with everything else? That's disgusting. It must attract rats. Your whole country must be filled with rats because you don't have proper sink technology." A tourist in Mexico City looking at the Aztec ruins of the Templo Mayor said, "It's cool, but it's a shame they didn't finish it. It's just a bunch of foundations. They should hire a good contractor, get the blueprints, and rebuild it so we can see what it was really like. This is like visiting a construction site.